What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Matt, and here we talk all things Manchester United. And there's a lot of news that is going down today. Probably the first big step in officially losing Old Trafford for good. Does Manchester United have the right priorities in place, though? Because this is a very important summer transfer window. You've got a new head coach, Michael Carrick, very inexperienced. You're finally playing in Champions League football again. But now we're talking about knocking down Old Trafford, the iconic, legendary the home of the treble, the home of so many memories for so many people. We'll talk about all that stuff. We'll talk about some new news from David Ornstein on some rumors going on with some of the links that Manchester United has had to some of their midfield prospects that they had high on their list, which are not exactly looking too good. So we're going to talk about all of those things. First of all, I'm not going to go into this too much, but we'll talk a bit just about the stadium and what's going to potentially happen there. So it was just announced today, and I read on the BBC that Manchester United has officially bought just a shit ton of land next to Old Trafford to potentially build a 100,000 seat new stadium. Let me know down in the comments down below how you feel about this. Would it be kind of bittersweet? Do you think it's needed? Do you think this ownership group has just pretty much ran this, Old Trafford into the ground, maybe on purpose? But are you welcome? Are you open to just a new chapter, to a new stadium for Manchester United? Let me know down in the comments down below. But I would say for me, let's be honest here. 80 years from now, most of us will probably be dead. And all of the people that are alive, and, as long as Manchester United doesn't go completely downhill at that point, there'll still be a lot of fans remaining, hopefully to fill this new 100,000 seat arena. We would hope, but we will all most likely be dead. So are people really going to care that in 2020 something they tore down an old stadium where some cool things happened? Probably not. We've seen this many times before in many different sports leagues across the world. People eventually get over it. Regardless of that, it kind of sucks, right? It really does. It's Old Trafford. It's such an iconic place with so many memories for so many fans. So many people have gone there and spent time with their mom and their dad and their siblings and their friends, and just undeniable memories without question. But like I said, I don't really want to get into the stadium too much because I just don't really think it's that important. What I think is important about it is this may be the reason why some of those top shelf midfielders who Manchester United claimed were a target for damn near 10, 12 months, the Tonali's, Andersons, folks like that. Is this the reason why all the talk, and there really has been all bark and no bite, really, with those signings? Maybe the ownership group's been distracted. Maybe they're concerned about spending money. Obviously, the rumors of not trying to spend more than 80 million on a transfer, not trying to spend more than 200,000 in wages, has been talked about quite a bit and has almost been verified in a sense if you just kind of piece the puzzle pieces together. Is this the reason why? Where are the priorities? Obviously, United's back in Champions League football. Great, right? But, it now has to be the time where you pounce. You've got your foot on the neck of some of the squads outside of Champions League football. And that's a real selling point for future players to get on your squad. Like, now is the chance. We should not be hearing a single word about the clubs like Spurs actually having the balls to bid for players like Tonali. And back to what I said just a second ago about David Ornstein. Tottenham Hotspur opened Sandro Tonali talks with Newcastle United. And this has been talked about for a few days now, but it's hard to say how I really feel about this, because on one hand, like, you've got to respect them for just having the balls to go out and do something like this, going for it, taking a swing, spending the money. Obviously, they have a very nice stadium that is very new. They've already got that lockdown in place. Obviously, United talking about that. So possibly, like I mentioned, trying to tie up some, financial loose ends, trying to just be careful with their money, I guess. But I mean, in some ways, it's just absolutely pathetic that things like that we're just hearing about stuff like this. I mean, Spurs, you're talking about a team who is almost getting relegated now on a yearly basis, back to back years. And they're now going to be, one of the only teams that's going to be bidding for players like Tonali, that's going to be bidding for players like Mateus Fernandez. I mean, they're open to that deal. David Ornstein also said Spurs head coach Robert De Zerbi is pushing to sign Fernandez, which, his asking price is pretty high. So I would have to imagine that Tonali's a bigger priority for them if they really, really want to go for it. I mean, obviously, they don't want to be finishing this low in the Premier League over and over and over, and they really do want to go for it. They tried to go for some signings last year to help push them a little bit closer to the top 10 in the league last year, but obviously it wasn't enough. They had quite a few injuries, but this is a Manchester United channel. We're going to get back to what United is doing. And I don't want to talk, like I said, I want to kind of move on a bit from the stadium and all that kind of stuff. I just don't really think it's that important. But again, Champions League football. I mean, Ederson, that's cool. Signing Ederson, he's playing in the World Cup now for Brazil. That's awesome. Not a lot of people, I feel like, have talked about just what it's like being able to play, having a player like that be able to learn under the wing of some of these other play. Obviously, Brazil, this is not the greatest Brazil team by any means, but still, there's some, world-class players still on that squad that a player like Edison can definitely learn from. Of course, he's not going to be getting really much playing time at all, but he's going to be able to learn quite a bit. Ederson, solid signing. Solid. It's not going to take your breath away, obviously. It's not one of those signings where you're going to say, wow, we lost Casemiro, one of the best, defensive type midfielders of the last decade, literally in the entire world, who has won so many things. And Ederson, if you want to keep moving forward, you obviously have to go for it. I mean, when you're losing a world-class player who was obviously kind of on his last leg in a lot of different ways, you have to go for it. You have to either try to go for a really hot prospect that you think has a higher ceiling than a player like Casemiro, or you have to go for a sure thing, like an Anderson, for example. But obviously that doesn't seem like it's going to happen. It seems like City is clearly in the front runner for a player like Elliot Anderson, unfortunately. So, but it just makes you wonder what is happening, because Ederson is, without a question, I mean, it's a Band-Aid type of a deal. It really is. I mean, and there's so many things, like, this is United. I mean, there is almost no question now with this ownership group and the people who are at the top of this entire thing. It just shows you over and over what the priorities are, man. And it has to sink into all of you. I'm sure it already has. For many of you, you guys are smart, that this is a business in the end. And man, we all wish that some billionaire that loves the game of football, that loves this team, would come in and buy it, honestly, because that is truly when you see great things. We've seen it in the NBA. Obviously, I'm an American. We see it in the NFL. Owners who are truly passionate about winning and they want to do anything they can to win, the money's going to be there. This is the most popular sport in the entire world. It's one of the biggest brands in the entire world. I think I saw the other day that United was once again valued as a top 5 club in the entire world. The money's going to be there. Try to win. The more you win, the more valuable the team's going to be, the more new fans you're going to get. Obviously, they're doing the whole the whole documentary thing and all that, which is going to bring in some new fans. But still, winning solves everything. And I just cannot believe that a team like Spurs is potentially going to sign and kick United in the ass and take what they want. They are literally going to just take our sack lunch at school and bully us. Now, 100% could this just be a ploy from Tonali and Fernandez's agent and just all of the people involved to not only get more money out of United, but also just to make it just a little bit more chaotic and hope a team like United panics and gets really worried and just throws down a hell of a lot of money, yes, of course, that could 100% be the situation here. But I mean, it's getting, I mean, we're very early in the window, but, and I know a lot of people would say that, but when you consider how early it is in the window, I mean, that doesn't really matter, right? Because if every player that you want gets scooped up in the first 2 weeks, you can't just sit there and say, well, we still have 2 more months in the transfer window. Like, what's the big deal? What's like 2 more months for what? What are we going to bid for Mbappe? We gonna bid for Holland? Like we gonna bid for a bunch of Brighton players? Or we gonna try to bid for the rest of West Ham's squad because just having a bunch of West Ham relegated players would be great. Obviously the recipe for success, and of course there's been great players on relegated teams in the past, but that's not my point. My point is, it's like you need to move on this, and I get there's a lot of moving parts. I get that Madrid is kind of waiting for some things to unfold in the World Cup, waiting for some players to potentially become available, and that's going to probably happen, in August, early August, later in July, probably players like Tchouaméni and things like that who are very high on United's radar without question. But still, there's only so much you can wait on. I really do think that United really needs to pick up the pace on signing one of those mid-tier midfielders. I look at Ederson as kind of more of a bottom mid-tier kind of a category, but a really solid mid-tier player. And with the market nowadays, it's going to cost you at least $60 million to sign a player like that. And they need to cut the check. The budget this year has been rumored to be something like 250. They could spend more easily. This is United. This team is worth billions and billions and billions of dollars. I mean, they hiked the prices on all of you guys last season. This squad is swimming in cash. This is not an issue. But a reality check needs to happen. Things need to move faster. Don't you guys think? Let me know down in the comments down below. I'll talk about this just for a second. Marcus Rashford. We'll talk about him just for a moment. Now, do I think bringing back Rashford, who is a Manchester United player, Barcelona has decided not to, buy him officially. They want to either get another loan for next season or he's going to go back to United. Do I think that United, with a new coach, with, Champions League football back, with the potential there to maybe repair some things? I know there's been a lot of drama in the past. I know Rashford did a lot of things that just a lot of the fan base, probably damn near half the fan base, doesn't like. I get that. A lot of people don't want him back. But, I mean, his quality is there. He's still in pretty top form. He's playing very, very well. Would I prefer United to sell Rashford and get a equally as good player with a clean slate with the fan base, a clean slate with the shirt, with the badge? Yes, absolutely. But to sell Rashford and then just grab somebody who's maybe going to be as good as him, I don't really like that plan either. I do have a video on my channel talking about one of the left wings in particular, and number 10s, I would really like United to sign because I think that guy is kind of blockbuster in a lot of ways. I don't want to spoil that video. Check it out on my channel if you would like to, but I mean, there are options out there. You just have to spend the damn money, United. Please. Let's win some games. Let's go for it. Let's pretend like this is 2010, 2005, whatever, all over again. Let's focus on football. Anyways, guys, just wanted to talk to you a little bit about not only the new stadium stuff, the breaking news with that, but also the kind of crisis that is happening with the transfer window and the stadium playing a part of potentially just making the ownership, just a bit distracted. What are the priorities? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments down below. United fans, would love to hear from you. Would love to hear from anybody else. If you're not a United fan, let me know your opinion as well. But thank you so much for watching. My name is Matt for all things Manchester United. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video as well if you did enjoy it. But thank you so much for watching. It's always great to talk United with you here on the channel. But anyways, everybody, I will talk to you in the next one.